Good day. This is being filmed the evening of Moon Day, January 20th, 2025. We're talking astrology. That's what's up in the collective. That's what's everything, the individual, the all in all, and everything in between. So we talk about what the heck's going on. This is astrology. So this particularly goes out to my sensitive, spiritual, creative, dreamy souls. Yes, we typically are the ones most influenced by the collective astrology, but the astrology is everything from the individual to the all in all and everything in between. So we're talking about the nature of these times. And if you may be going through it, if you need some extra support, I am here for you. This is my service. My next Q&A is coming up this weekend, the 25th. So I am here for you. We can take a look at your chart and I can offer you some personal reflections, and I'll circle back around to some more technical. Also, 2025 calendars. If you haven't got yours, check it out. Amazing artwork this year. But I want to get back to the heart and soul and begin this particular video. This one's going to go out to my artists, my creatives, as well as those in healing roles or service roles, my doctors, my nurses, my therapists, my priests, people who have gone into psychology. Oftentimes, these are inherently spiritual services. These are roles that people get into not to just make a buck. These are roles that people get into to serve the collective. And that's what we're going to be speaking to today. Later this evening, I'm going to do a live stream on the life and work of David Lynch. Today, the 20th, is his birthday. We're going to take a look at his chart from the evolutionary astrology vantage point. You can join by signing up. There'll be a link in the video description. Members get access to this video. It's only a few dollars to join, so check it out. That'll be shared later this evening, and it is a very poetically timed death. I mean, I've really been heart-touched by this man, as many in the collective have, and we're really feeling this. I mean, what we're feeling and mourning is this poetically timed death that is reflecting back to us, looking at our species' creative backbone. Is it there? Or are we mourning a true loss of creativity in this day and age? So we're going to talk about why this is so much reflecting the collective astrology, what can be up for so many of us at this time, which are going to be all themes to do with Neptune. The final sign of the zodiac, Pisces, ruled by Neptune, is said to be the Alpha, the Omega, the most enigmatic, mysterious, we could say spiritual, but when we say gate, parasangate, beyond, is what we're talking about with Pisces. So when we talk about how we're all one, yes, and how we're all different, yes, and how we're all inconceivably one and different simultaneously, yes, this is the reality of Pisces-Neptune. Now, what we oftentimes see, to cut straight to the chase, are those souls, largely those I just spoke to, those who are closest to the source of inspiration. Say you're very close to the sun, the source of all creative inspiration in the solar system. Well, do we know we're close to the source when you're that close? Are you overwhelmed and blinded by light? The reason I'm beginning this video making this point are many artists, creatives, and spiritual aspirants are struggling through an experience of purposelessness right now. What could be an experience of disillusionment, uncertainty as to what really matters or what doesn't, even reaching the extreme of contemplating whether or not our life matters, whether or not we should be here. This is what Neptune and Pisces confronts more than any other sign or planet, and that is why Neptune in itself, the fact that Neptune as a planet exists archetypally, is one of the most mind-melting phenomenons of all phenomena, because we can actually track the archetype of Neptune, which is the all in all. So whenever we hear spiritual people or evolved people, because it doesn't have to necessarily be any particular religion or this or that. But when people say you don't need anything, you can turn into the source of all things within yourself. You can tune into your heart. You can tune into God direct. You can tune into inspiration, the source of all things. Well, that is Neptune. That's what's so fascinating, is Neptune is that source of all inspiration, which is outside of time or bounds, can be accessed directly through the heart, through the soul, whatever means you access that. Can be through any chakra or any meditation. However you access that, you can in any moment of time. Yet as astrologers, we can study Neptune, study seasons in which Neptune is more so accessible. And we can study the lives of those who have more access to this dimension. It is, again, largely Pisces or Virgo, the opposite sign of Pisces. The whole polarity is where we get this service and orientation towards others, to remove egoic distractions, to tune into that actual direct inspirational flow, of which David Lynch was a teacher of, as well as meditation, which is why we're going to offer an honoring of his soul today on what would have been his 79th birthday, in an incredible poetic honoring, because the times really are reflecting so much of what he strove to do, which was depart this higher intelligence, encourage us to think creatively, yes, but he also disseminated transcendental meditation as the source of his inspiration. And he was encouraging others to tune into this source of meditation. We have to access tranquility, for example, to access that creative flow, because what he taught is that creative flow. And this is the definition of Pisces-Neptune, where we're seeing Venus joining Saturn in Pisces on the 18th. Venus joins Neptune on February 1st. Then the moon's north node in the sign of Pisces joins the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, on February 7th at 1:11 a.m. Eastern Time, February 7th. Okay, so this is that most effortless flow that we are struggling with, because this is introducing an evolutionary chapter. The moon's north node just entered Pisces this last week, where he will remain for the next year and a half. So if we were to experience creative blocks, meandering, purposelessness, disconnect between us, our heart, or us and God, it would be now, and it's not the end of the line. It is to begin a new evolutionary direction, to learn to re-access that flow, that natural unfolding, that just like the springtime flowers will reveal its aroma, its essence, its beauty, the way every artist is attempting to convey, and every enlightened master is attempting to bring us into the same fruition. How? Every individual is like a seed. No tree is alike any other tree. We must grow into our potential, which we could say is our fate. What we're contemplating these days is inevitability. That's Neptune. Does this matter? Is this real? Is this illusory? Is this a dream? How do we make this dream a reality? That's what Venus joining Neptune in Pisces can be. And you know what? It can be quite sobering. It can be quite sobering to have our head pulled out of the clouds, of which we oftentimes get very dreamy, where we lose ourselves to fantasy or ideals. We start to become the fanboy or fangirl of, and then it's not really them. It's a deception, it's a dream, it's a concoction. And we invent these same dreams and concoctions in our relationships, and then make them or their or her into the source of inspiration, into our personal God, and then we get lost, because we have to have the source of inspiration within ourselves. And the beginning of 2025 is an incredible year of inner reconnection. The beginning of this year, you're welcome to be lost. I encourage you to wander through the desert. The more you can be flexible and unknowing, the more open and receptive you can be to what's forthcoming and what will be forth pouring. It will come out of the bleeding heart. It will come out of the cries of the world. It will come out of the cries of our own soul. to remember ourselves, to come back to feeling. And feeling is a full spectrum experience when it comes to the water element. It's not all just fun and games on this planet Earth. Love is not just how happy you are. There is a tranquility, which Neptune is, which is transcendental to all of that. The happiness, the sadness, the good days, the bad days. That's not what this higher transcendence is. It's the ability to experience anything. It's the ability to experience anything and to be able to relax into that, not because we necessarily want that to go on forever, but because we know this too shall pass. And that is Neptune's overall lesson. What is permanently existing is change. This is why it's called Maya. It's not that it's something we need to throw away. It's something that we don't want to get overly attached to because it's going to change. It's that simple and straightforward. All right? So the moon's north node conjoining Neptune. These next couple weeks, this is the deep, deep, deep. And if we're feeling rocked by that deep, if we're contemplating things that we can't tell people about, or else they're going to call, the psychotherapist that can't even really help us, but is just there to say, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay, we're concerned. Is that concern really the same as care or compassion? Well, that's what we're really trying to get to these days. Easier said than done. It's not only such a high Pisces time, going to affect especially artists, spiritual souls, but we're all in this deep existential exploration for purpose. It's also our forthcoming new moon. At the end of this month, Wednesday, January 29th, we will have a new moon at 9 degrees of Aquarius, which happens to conjoin the planetary south node of Neptune at 10 degrees Aquarius. So this Neptune Pisces theme comes up again and again and again. This new moon in particular on the south node of Neptune brings us into a contemplation of what the heck is this species doing right now? And what is true goodness? What does the species need? And what I am sharing here is actually heartbreaking. I have been comparing myself as an astrologer to artists and creators. I think it's actually the most similar field. And I had to decide whether I was going to be a psychologist or an artist. I decided to go to art school because I felt I could share truth in a more impactful way through art than the DSM-5. But then I realized there was no chance to even be an artist. To be a freelancer, single artist is almost nearly impossible, as it is to be a musician. And you know who my number one demographic is? And I wonder why that is. These are the people who are most influenced by the astrology, most connected to the collective, are bleeding heart artists. My definition for an artist is a soul who has to create art. It's not a choice. It has to come through us or we'll go insane. That's how you know you're an artist, and we all are in some way. That's what it means to be a human. In some cultures, they don't have a word for the artist because that's what you are. It's everywhere. It's everything. Every expression is artistic. Everything is divine dance. That's what Rasa Leela is. So we can be tuning into that, renewing that, at the absolute bottom of the barrel of uncertainty in that. And as much as we can go through, allow it to dissolve. Allow the bottom to drop out. This is the deep, deep, deep heart stuff. And you know what I notice? Artists and creatives and psychologists don't get the respect that they deserve. The society does not say thank you for your spiritual service. Thank you for your offering of love. Thank you for your devotion. We get so much fucking senseless criticism. Do you really want to be an artist in the world? I don't know. Is that going to really pay the bills? Oh, a psychologist? People are really annoyed by that. Oh, an astrologer? I'm worried about you. You're going over the deep end. You know how much I fucking have heard that over the last dozen years? It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. It's 100% backwards from how this world should be. Artists, creatives are the inspired beings who are leading our species into the future, period. Period. Those are our David Lynch's, our C.S. Lewis's, our Tolkien's. These are high magicians, not merely artists. What is art? It's high magic. What is astrology? It's high magic. People project onto this shit that this is heady, technical, and not heart-centered. How is any word that I've departed in this video, let alone anything I've said over the last dozen years, not an offering to help others coming from this heart? It's insane. I hear it literally every day from people way too close. Absolutely insane. And I know I'm not alone in this. It's the artists, it's the creators, it's the real people that have to come together now and recognize ourselves and then renew our creativity so we can do what we're supposed to, which is lead this species forward. We are the pioneers. We are the trailblazers. We don't get the recognition or credit for it. We must give it to ourselves. That's a part of this new moon. We said it's on the south node of Neptune, which is in Aquarius. That's where we need to watch out for this danger of the hive mind, cult. Oh yeah, to be spiritual is to dress the same, act the same, follow what everyone else is doing, and then you just, drank the Kool-Aid. That's not the cult you want to join. The north node of Neptune's in Leo. That's discovering the inherent individuality and autonomy of the soul and how God wants us to have a unique relationship with God that's going to be different per each and every individual. This again is Rasa Leela healing. That's why this is titled what it is. This is incredibly spiritual work. I am offering evolutionary astrology as taught by Jeffrey Wolf Green, which was departed to him from Swami Yukteswar, as the astrology of the future. So that way this species can decondition from thousands of, if not more, lifetimes of being conditioned by military slave society. So we can remove the shackles of slavery and return to God and nature. That's evolutionary astrology, as taught by Jeffrey Wolf Green. And he never pointed the finger to himself. He said it was all passed to him in a single dream from Swami Yukteswar, who was Paramahamsa Yogananda's guru. You'd have to be absolutely insane to think this isn't relevant to anyone's spirituality. This is the evolutionary astrology that you can access at rasaleelacommunity.com. You join my astrology school, you get free entrance to the Q&A, which we meet every month. You can ask a question about your chart or about astrology. It's an awesome educational resource as well as a true support circle, because we come out of this circle feeling more seen and more recognized and more supported than we do anywhere else in our life. And I mean that. Don't just take my word for it. Test it out. Stick your finger in. The proof is in the pudding. And guess what? That's going to be this year. I'm telling you about the end of January into February. This new moon in Aquarius is a new moon. Any new moon sets the tone for the roughly 30 days to come, the forthcoming lunar cycle. So we're talking about this new moon setting the tone throughout February 2025. And on the day of this new moon, Mercury is essentially, not exactly, but Mercury joins Pluto on the 21st. On this new moon, Mercury is just a degree from Pluto, also can join the asteroid Persephone. This is incredibly profound, deep, and ingenuitive thinking, breakthroughs, revelations. And these revelations can be incredibly, we're going to see this throughout the year. The rocket ship is lifting off, but we're going to get little waves of it all the way through. So this new moon trines Jupiter in Gemini. Uranus moves into Gemini later this year in July. It's going to be a rocket ship taking off. Even the asteroid Lucifer is going to be in Gemini from February 10th, where he stations the last degree Gemini, through February 20th. There's really going to be these foreshadowings of holy shit. This isn't a little dimensional shift. This is Dorothy has just left canvas. We're in new Technicolor vision, and it's beyond Technicolor vision. This is introducing one dimension, then another dimension gets introduced, then another dimension gets introduced. And by the end of this year, we're swimming in a whole new reality that we're going to have to really start adjusting to. Because it's like the first people you send into outer space and they're experiencing anti-gravity for the first time. It takes a little bit of adjustment. That's how profound this year is. So my final statement here, my recommendation for these times, because the intention of doing this work is to serve the collective. This is my heart. This is my passion, y'all. Again, the criticism, like the YouTube comments make it seem like I have a Hollywood life, that it's the absolute antithesis in my actual life. The amount of getting thrown under the bus for being an astrologer because people don't actually make contact with what I do is to a mythical proportion. So I'm leaving you off on this note. The beginning of 2025 is the most introverted period of the year. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what the species is doing. It feels scary. There's so many things going out there. Go inside. Mars is going to station direct at the end of February at 17 degrees Cancer. We're really continuing to introvert in through February because a profound and tremendous rebirthing is occurring in springtime, Northern Hemisphere. We're talking about when Mars goes back into Leo mid-April, opposite to Pluto end of April, and then leaves his retrograde zone on May 3rd. That's a tremendous rebirthing taking place April into May. My suggestion to you, particularly those who are influenced by the collective, my artists, my dreamers, my spiritual souls. The more spiritually evolved you are, the more sensitive you are to the astrology, the more useful it is, therefore, to know. Be as flexible and forgiving to yourself as you possibly can the first few months of this year, because this profound rebirth occurring from the inside out is a dimensional shift that could very well be setting the precedent now through the rest of our lives. And man, can this be an exciting trip. It's almost as in proportion to how hellish life's been up till now, because you've been a pioneer and on the back burner, taking shit, being in hiding. Well, it's not going to happen overnight. But the world's going to be becoming more increasingly open-minded. There's going to be more fellow pioneers coming out of the woodwork simultaneously as we do. And there's no time pressure. Give yourself the time to go through this natural unfolding process, because it's going to get more and more mystical. There's going to be more and more synchronicities, more and more messages from God. It's going to get so incredibly profound. So get ready for it. Simply empty your cup and get ready to receive. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. Folks, later on today, I'm doing a live stream in honor of David Lynch and his incredibly poetically timed death. Yes, death charts are also symbolic and significant in astrology. So we're going to go very in-depth later on today. And it's getting cold here as the sun goes down. So I'm going to clap my trap. I look forward to seeing you all in February. If I don't catch you at our forthcoming Q&A on the 25th, I do hope to see you there. And as always, please do take care.